Alright everyone, this was the penultimate episode of The Boys, the last episode before the final episode ever, and well, yeah man, this was trash. What's rockin' my rock and rollers? Today's video we're going to be discussing the penultimate episode, so the last episode before the last episode of The Boys, and let's just jump right into it. So I watched the episode this morning. It is currently, 6 p.m. on Wednesday, so I watched it Wednesday morning. This is Wednesday evening, so I'll probably upload this Thursday morning, maybe, probably. But yeah, let's get right into it. So I watched it this morning. I had some time to think about it, and I'm kind of disappointed because, like I said, episode 6 I thought was really good. They finally moved the plot along. Homelander got the V1. It ended with him getting the V1. It was like, oh my god, we got 2 episodes left. Yes, and this episode, it wasn't filler like the last, like what episodes? What 4 and 5 were? No, it wasn't filler, but it was. They did. No, they hit the peak and they slowed down. So. Spoilers, let's just get the big thing out of the way that happened. Frenchie dies, so a main crew member of The Boys dies, and I felt nothing for him. I wish I could, but his death scene, it was just like, oh, alright. So basically, they're trying to, my notes gonna be all over the place, but they're trying to do like the radiation, like they're trying to replicate Soldier Boy's powers with Kimiko and have her get the ability to take out, Homelander's V1 like Soldier Boy. So they locked her, like have like a uranium chamber, and they're testing like the power levels on her to see if she can hold it. And that's basically the main plot of the episode. And then so Frenchie stays behind to do that, and then Sister Sage is somewhere in that abandoned school, just watching like reality TV, like just not caring, like, oh yeah, the world's going to hell, but whatever. And then Frenchie eventually gives her a pep talk about how they both love Love Island, and I don't know, I didn't really care, but anyway, so she eventually goes, oh yeah, I'll help you. So they're helping Kimiko, they're testing her powers again, but meanwhile Butcher and the rest of the team are off somewhere else. I'll get into that in a bit. We'll stick with Frenchie. Homelander shows up, and it was actually kind of scary. Like when he shows up, like Frenchie has like a tracker, like a motion sensor. So when it senses like flying soup, so that goes off. He's like, oh my god, like it's Homelander. Like we gotta hurry up. And he lands, and you hear like this big like it's like him crashing through the ceiling. That's pretty cool. And so because Homelander can't see zinc, he can't see through zinc, I should say. Frenchie hides Sister Sage and Kimiko in like a, what's it called? Like a furnace type thingy. And so Homelander can't see them. And Homelander is like, they do like the typical thing where like Kimiko and Sister Sage are in like the furnace, and Homelander's like, not right next to him, but he's like pretty close to it, but he can't see, and he's looking around, and it was, like I said, it was kind of scary. It was kind of cool seeing Homelander like be terrifying for once. Like, oh my god, like he actually can be terrifying. He's not just like, a whack job all the time. And when he first showed up, like he crashed through the ceiling, he walks up the stairs, so like the camera's on the stairs, and you just see his feet, like boom, 1 stair, 2 steps, next step, and it's like all slow. It's like, oh, like this is actually pretty cool. Like, okay. And then, so he's like basically on the outside of the room of where they are, and Frenchie sees it, and he taps, kind of like, taps like a wall to get Homelander's attention. It was actually kind of cool. So like he taps, and like boom, Homelander shows up, but there's no like sound effects. So he taps, and Homelander's just there, and it's like, whoa. So he's there, and then Homelander sees the uranium chamber, like, oh, like you're trying to replicate, what the Soldier Boy or whatever, and Frenchie just like, oh yeah, we already did it. You're out of luck. We're gonna take you down. And Frenchie does have this cool line. Let me pull it. I have a picture of it here. It's like his last words. He looks at Homelander and he says, "Look at you. I bet you never danced a day in your life." And he basically saying that, hey, like let's dance. And I gotta lie, that's a good line. That's like a good final line. That's pretty good. The only thing that would make it better was if he said something like, you've never danced with the devil in your life, something like that, indicating something like that. I think would be a little bit better. And you see Homelander's face like this, and then the scene cuts, and we find Kimiko runs out looking for Frenchie, and we see him on the floor, and it looks like Homelander lasered his testicles, which is like, come on, man, you gotta make him go out like that. So he just lasered like his testicles briefly, and then Kimiko's holding Frenchie. This is at the end of the episode, so then all the rest of the boys like regroup and they see it, and the closing shot is like Kimiko holding Frenchie like this, and you see the boys around, the camera pans out, and that's the episode ends. So Frenchie's dead. Again, don't really care. What else happened? So the Deep, in episode brief, he gets fired from the 7, which is kind of cool. So, well, not cool, it's funny. So it's like one of the earlier scenes in the episode, he walks in, Homelander's just like casually, just like, oh yeah, you're fired. Like, and the Deep's like, oh, I did all this. Like, he basically asks, Homelander's is basically ass kissing him, and Homelander's just like, yeah, I know, you're still fired, which is kind of not funny. So then he's on like Deep's on like this, not a dock, like a small dock, like a deck near the lake, and he's like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? And this shark comes up and like starts like trash talking. I'm like, yeah, you left us for die. We know you did that pipeline March 15th. We're gonna remember you did this. And it's kind of funny because it took me a while, but it's actually voiced. It's a hammerhead shark, and it's voiced by Samuel Jackson. Because I'm not gonna say the word here because like I don't want this video to get like strike or whatever. But he says like MFR, and that's when I realized, like, is that Samuel Jackson? Like, so that's cool. And then someone else is drowning. Like, some dude is drowning. I think it's a little bit later, but some dude is drowning, and the Deep's just like, he's scared to go in the water because like, he can't swim or something like that. And so he's just watching this dude drown, and people are filming him, and he just runs away. So it's like, okay, like the fact I mentioned this earlier, the fact that he survived this long is, I don't know if he's like sleeping on the actor sleeping on the executives behind the screen, or what kind of like blackmail they got on him. But the fact that he's lasted this long over everybody else is just, it's shocking. So let's see what else. There was a Homelander and Soldier Boy scene, which was semi-cool. So basically, Homelander's planning like this huge like amusement park, like Homelander Land, whatever he called it. And Soldier Boy comes in like, what the F is this? And they have this, I don't want to say a heart-to-heart, but basically like Soldier Boy says, I only gave you the V1 because that's what Stormfront would do. Other than that, I don't care. Like, I'm out. I'm gonna go to like Mexico and like basically just get a bunch of hookers, which at this point, I don't blame him, man. I'd do the same thing. And Homelander's just like, oh, you can't leave. Like, we're a team. And it was kind of like how do you want to describe, like a kid trying to show his dad something he's proud of. Like, look, Dad, I created this. Isn't this cool? And the dad's just like, And he's like, oh, what? You don't like it? That's kind of what this reminded me of. And Homelander tries to walk away. No, Soldier Boy tries to walk away. Sorry. And Homelander tries to stop him, and he says like, I am God. Like, I think it's like the first time I think he's ever said like, and basically admitted like, I am God, I'm the chosen one out loud. And Soldier Boy just says, what's the line, like, you're no God, you just saw some big juicy tits. So, and if that makes you a god, then I'm a god every effing night. And it's like, dude, the way Jensen Ackles delivers these lines, it's so good. And then like this picture shows Soldier Boy tries to walk away. Homelander chokes him out. It doesn't kill him. He just like chokes him out. And you see a tear come out of Homelander's eye that he's doing this, which is kind of interesting. And then he immediately just puts Soldier Boy on ice. Like, he puts him back in cryo. So is this gonna be the end for Soldier Boy? I don't know why you would. I mean, yeah, he has his prequel show, but like, they're not gonna use him for the finale. He's just gonna sit out. The whole big taking down Homelander, just gonna be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna leave him out, which is okay, I guess. There's that, and then let's see what else. Oh, okay, I should say so. In the first, I think the opening scene of the episode is that scene we've seen like in the trailers, like Homelander's in the White House. He's like behind the desk. He has that grin on his face. So he basically says, I want to ban all this stuff, blah, blah, whatever. And he tells Ashley to read the president, like the real president of the United States mind, and realizes, oh, he's not one of us. So Homelander kills the president, basically putting Ashley in charge, aka putting Homelander in charge, putting himself in charge. Next up, oh yeah, the two girls from Gen V are in here. I'm not gonna say much about them because the show didn't give us much to do. They show up and say, oh, okay, oh yeah, these people, like, you want to help? And Sora say, no, like, we got this. And then they come back at the end, and Starlight says like, "Oh, we need your help." So I didn't watch Gen V, but apparently like the black chick, Marie's her name, I think, who has like blood bending powers, kind of, which is kind of cool. So it's gonna be kind of cool to see what she does. Probably get killed. I know Gen Z got canceled, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie about her. She's fine, and she's bad as hell. So I hope she doesn't get killed just for that. But MM and Starlight in this episode, basically they tried to break into the old father, like they're having like a screening of a commercial they want to show of like Homelander becoming Jesus, which is this picture here of like the thorns on his head, and they get a test screening and just see if like, oh, how like, and they get like these mind reading soups in here to see like, oh, are people true believers? Do they actually believe this? They show the commercial, and some people believe it, some people don't. So the ones that do believe it, they can go. The other people are locked in there and killed. And then we get this scene where I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but it's that cat lady from like the very first episode or two, when they were trying to find like the virus with Butcher and when Soldier Boy first came back, and some like is it dog man or whatever, like dog powers, and they're trying to find Starlight and MM, and they're in a room, and then with Starlight and MM in a room, they hit the doorknob. Oh god! So they hide up in the like the vents, and the two like I guess like felines, I guess you want to call them, come in, and then he starts like the dog dude starts sniffing the cat girl's butt like, oh, you had guacamole for lunch, and she sniffs his like, you had like some salad or whatever, and then they're sniffing each other and like going around in a circle, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, if this was any episode, it'd be fine, but you got one episode left of the show, and you're showing us this, like, why? Oh god, I can't with this show anymore. I'm kind of glad it's ending. So basically, yeah, so they start killing people, and then the two felines, after they're done sniffing each other, they start killing the non-believers. Starlight and MM come in, they save the day. Oh my god, the people are like, oh my gosh, Starlight, you're cool, you saved us, yeah, whatever. So the whole time this is happening, Butcher and Huey are in the same compound, but they get captured by another like mind-reading soup. They get locked up, and this is where we get like a semi-cool scene. So Jeffrey Dean Morgan comes back as, what's the dude's name for Season 4? Let me see here. Joe Kessler, who was like a former like teammate of Butcher's when they were like in the army or whatever together, and that was pretty cool. So the soup turns himself into Kessler and tries to get into Butcher's mind, to like reveal like what the plan is, whatever. And we do get some pretty interesting stuff. Basically, what we already knew about Butcher, like he's basically going to try to kill Homelander no matter the cost. Doesn't matter, even if he has to kill everyone, he's going to do it. And the whole time this is happening, like basically saying like Joe Kessler saying like, oh, like you let your team die. He tells a story about like the army past. And the whole time he's doing this, Huey starts standing up to him like, oh, you don't know that or whatever, and then basically distracting him. So then Butcher breaks free of like the cuffs and kills the mind-reading soup with the tentacles and rips him in two. And then they go, and then him and them, and then Starlight get together, and they go to Frenchie and Kimiko, and we get that final scene I just talked about with Frenchie dying, and that was it. That's all that happened. So I won't do a prediction. For the last episode, I'll do a whole separate video about that because I don't want it to be too long. But that's what happened. Main thing is Frenchie died, and the plot has not moved forward. So we got one episode left, guys. Let's see. I'm watching my invisible watch right here. Clock's ticking.